If you think the XRP Ledger is just one thing, then hold on to your seats, because we're about to blow your mind. In this video, we are going to explain how there are actually two XRP ledgers, what they are, and why one of them might be the reason that XRP's price has gone up. Yet, let's dig in. A vehicle can be a car, a motorcycle, a truck, or a bicycle. Cryptocurrency can be Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or even dog-themed coins like Dogecoin. Each cryptocurrency has its own special properties, features, and use cases. And XRP is no exception. First off, the term cryptocurrency is an umbrella term, just like the word vehicle is an umbrella term. This is important because while blockchain technology is great, its transparency can be a double-edged sword for regulated entities like banks. But if a ton of transactions is happening on the private ledger, that would mean there's way more utility than people realize. Basically, just because you don't see transactions on the public ledger doesn't mean they're not happening. They could very well be happening on the private ledger. Because the private ledger's supply and transactions aren't visible, we don't know exactly how much XRP is being used on it. This adds fuel to the fire of speculation around XRP's price. Some people believe that a lot more XRP is being used than people realize, while others believe that not much is being used at all. They need to comply with laws and regulations that often require discretion and confidentiality. For example, they could lock up XRP for a certain amount of time. This could explain why there is still a ton of XRP being held in escrow accounts. The public ledger is fully transparent, and anyone can check it to see all the transactions that have occurred. Hopefully this video sheds some light on how and why XRP ledgers and how the private ledger could be one of the reasons that the price has gone up yet. If you want to learn more about how XRP works, we actually have a video coming out soon diving deeper into how the private ledger works. So stay tuned to not miss it. Governments and regulators want to know what is happening on these ledgers, because they want to crack down on illicit activity like money laundering and terrorist financing. So as regulations evolve, we may see less privacy on these ledgers. This allows anyone to verify the network and the transactions occurring on it, thus building trust in the network. For example, let's say you go to the bank and deposit a large sum of cash. The bank wouldn't broadcast that information to everyone, would they? No, of course not. Banks need to keep their customers' information confidential. If they did something like broadcast every customer's transaction to the entire internet, they would lose a lot of customers. Not only that, but they also need to protect their own sensitive data. For example, they do not want rival banks to know how much cash they have on hand or how much is moving in and out of their accounts. This is the type of blockchain most people think of when they hear the word blockchain. XRP operates on a bifurcated ledger system, meaning it has a public ledger and a private ledger. It is private. Only those who have permission can see the transactions occurring on it. Now, why would they need a private ledger? Well, it turns out many banks and even central banks are using the private ledger to do business. They can do things like test CBDC, which are central bank digital currencies. CBDC are basically a digital version of a country's fiat currency that is issued and regulated by a central bank. Countries like China and the Bahamas have already rolled out CBDCs, and many others are testing them. Now, the private ledger is exactly what it sounds like. But why would banks want to use a private ledger? Well, they need privacy when doing certain things. So the private ledger allows banks to experiment with or even conduct real transactions without broadcasting it to the entire world. Now here's the thing. Many people look at the public ledger to determine how much XRP is being used. Now another interesting point is that the private ledger allows Ripple and its partners to do things they could undo on the public ledger. In the future, regulations may change and make these private ledgers a lot more transparent. The last thing we should talk about is the speculation around how much XRP is actually in the private ledger versus the public ledger. As more and more people use the private ledger, this speculation will likely die down. Thank you guys for watching this video. We hope that you've enjoyed it.